Hello, my friends. Today, I learned something absolutely amazing. I have a best friend who kind of helps me more into how to get more for my gardening and more to our homestead. And she continues to keep, she educates me, and a major blessing. I'll just say that she's been a major blessing. And so I wanted to share with you a few garden tools. Can garden tools literally help you? Absolutely. We grow in a lot of space between grow pots and raised beds and everything, and years past, I can honestly tell you I've pretty much wasted a lot of good space because honestly I didn't have the tools or the knowledge to know how to get the most out of everything that I have. So I'm going to share with you a few tools. Mind you, I'm not sponsored. These are just based by my own experience and the things that we have gotten or the things that were gifted that help me, whether it be from family or friends. It has helped me to understand how important it is that garden tools can really help. I'm going on 5 years, so it takes a while to get the things we need. But this year I am so grateful because I believe that I'm going to get the most for my space. I'm going to show you one. Now, mind you, this is not a knife, y'all. This is a garden tool called a Hori Hori. Now this garden tool, it's got a beveled V-shaped edge which goes on each side. It's got a point here where we could cut stems with trees or things that we don't need in our garden. It's got a point here where we could cut twine. It makes getting out weeds and stuff so much easier. It's got centimeter depth lines from 1 inch to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 inches. I love this tool. It makes weeding very easy. It makes gardening a super pleasure for me, and I truly love this. When it comes to weeding, I have no issues. I can get down to the root, pop them out, and we're good to go. Now the other one I'm learning is square foot gardening. I have this book that I am now starting to venture into to get the most out of my garden beds. And I'm going to tell you, with this book also comes this tool. Now this is a square foot gardening tool. And what I do is I flatten out my beds and I will place this in sequence from every step of my garden I want to do. I'm going to take you to an example where I had just planted some gifted cauliflower that was given to us. We've got regular white cauliflower, red, or not red, but purple, and I think yellow. So, and I'm not sure if I have all the colors in there because some of the plants were okay to plant, some were not. So, but what this just did for me when I just used this, I couldn't believe how much space I actually saved. So what this indicates, actually, all these little holes. Now these holes are basically when we start planting seeds. You can get quite a few seeds depending on what you're growing in a square foot, a single square foot, and it's recommended 1 seed per hole. And I can understand that because I'm doing 1 seed per cell in my indoor plants for my peppers and tomatoes, and they're coming out a whole lot better. I'm not wasting seeds, and I'm not having to cut out seedlings. This little tool here that comes with this is the depth. So when you're planting your seeds, from what I'm assuming and what I'm seeing is it's got a little crevice right here at the tip. Let's see if I can bring this further in so you can see it better. That little crevice down here with the tip is where you would put your seed, and this is the depth line of how far to plant your seeds. So I mean, this is really interesting tool, and it's also made to be able to mark in each hole your spacing once you make your platform of your square. So this is 1 square inch or square foot. I mean, this is 1 square foot, and the center in here is like if you've got seedlings like tomatoes, peppers, like I just did the cauliflower, that center point in the middle of the square foot will tell you how to plant these. This was absolutely amazing. I just tried this. I love the fact that it comes with a chart to teach you how to do this. And from what I'm also seeing is this little piece right here comes off. It goes on the top of your holes where you had planted. So you can actually put your seeds inside this little crevice, drop it in here, and you're good to go. I mean, this is so easy to plant with. So and this is the box that it came with. So you can find these on Amazon, and I am going to highly recommend this because this, y'all, I'm serious, this is absolutely amazing. So let me take you outside and show you how this worked for me in planting my cabbage and how much room I actually had to save. I'm actually finding I could get more from my raised beds than I've ever done before since having this tool. So let me go out and show you what this looked like today. Okay, so here's the cauliflower I just planted. Let me take you down this line and show you that even spacing. This is amazing, you all. Now for me, it makes it so much easier. And in some forms, you could still see some of the template lines that I had made in here. But I took the square foot template, pressed it down into my soil, looked for my center point, and started planting each of these in the centers. And this was absolutely amazing to me. Now, what I've also seen here, if I could find some companion planters, I've got this row here, but I've also got this space in the front. So if I wanted to do like radishes or something like that, I can easily plant them right along this edge, or even salad, lettuce. So this leaves me even more space to utilize in my raised bed. This helps me, which my biggest problem was overcrowding. This gives me hope that I will have proper spacing for my plants, that I will get more out of my garden. And I find in my evaluation of the square foot gardening tool, utilizing in a way that is efficient, absolutely. I absolutely do not regret this, because I am getting more out of my beds. And you can see now in this space right here along this whole line how I can absolutely grow something small across this edge, or to find what would companion grow with the cauliflower. This is the bok choy still, and you see I didn't use that template, so I do have some wasted space in here. Now with knowing this though, these are miniatures, so you see this empty space right here? I could be utilizing that space. Same thing with over here. I have empty spaces I could be utilizing to get more for my growing. And as long as I learned what the companions are, I can get more for my space. So I am definitely learning how to do this, because if I want a huge garden to be able to store for the winter, I need to absolutely learn how to do this. Now, let me take you back to the radishes over here. Could using that template have saved me a lot of waste? Absolutely, because I do have some overcrowding in here. Now, although radishes will expand each other and everything, but that's not saying that I'm not going to still have loss. So I could have used this template inside here, properly did my seeds, and got more for what I actually do, and better crops to ensure that I actually do get a crop and nothing gets killed out. And the same with this lettuce bed. We'll take you over there too. In this lettuce bed, using that template, could I have gotten better in my seed planting? Probably, honestly. And then spaces in between I could have planted there too, because lettuce you can tend to sprinkle more than most, so, and they'll still grow. But when it comes to head lettuces and stuff, no, it would be easier and better for me to use that template. So that tool was absolutely amazing. I do not regret having that, and I would highly advise it to anybody else to be able to get more out of your crops, to get more for your space, and to be able to expand in a way that would be highly effective. So I will take you inside and finish this conversation with you. Okay, so sorry about all the farm noise, the dog and all too. But can garden tools help? You know, I used to think I got this and I can, you know, I didn't need to really invest in these, but I'm going to be honest with you. Frankly, yes, garden tools can help, especially when you want to get as much as you can. Now, for instance, when I planted my cauliflower, I'm just going to simply say that when I look at this template, when it comes to my tomatoes and my peppers, the way I planted last year, thinking about it, and then looking at this template, I'm actually going to be able to get more out of my space, and to be able to properly plant things in sections. And from what I'm seeing with that cauliflower, it's the same spacing for peppers and tomatoes. So with that space in that front line that I showed you, I'm easily going to be able to plant basil with my tomatoes in that straight line across, because basil grows exceptionally well with tomatoes. So I'm going to be able to get way more out of my spacing than I've ever done before. So I definitely am super excited for this tool, and I wanted to share this with you because most of us we really want to get most for our money. Most really want to be able to get most for our space. And so with that, I am going to say that the reason for this video is to help you understand that does garden tools help. So I will be right back with you. Okay, I apologize. Hubby needed to talk to me about something. So now, as far as the square foot gardening book, I find this amazing because it will teach you basically how to build a raised bed that utilizes the square foot gardening. It's got step-by-step instructions. It's got charts on how to plant and the best ways to plant. Using this tool will help. How to plan for your gardens, basically when to plant. I mean, this book is amazing. I'm going to continue to keep reading through this, but it gives you steps like all about tomatoes, the harvesting, the starting, the transplanting, peas, peppers, okra, onions, leeks. It's got a ton, kale. So it gives you all different varieties and many information about particular plants in here. So I would highly, I am absolutely going to highly recommend all this information to you all to help you get more out of your spacing, especially if you're like us who doesn't have a whole lot of property. We want to be able to utilize as much of the property as we can, and every tool that will allow us to do that will help us to be able to get more for our small spaces. Now, if we were a huge homestead, this wouldn't be an issue, but even if that the case, even with the huge, I could get 3, 4, or 5 times more than what I'm able to do. But this homestead is on a smaller scale, so this is the area we stay in on small scale, whether it's from patio to a typical backyard. So this is where my information and my channel is the smaller homesteads, those of us who live in city or even county lines. So I wanted to bring this to you, and if you have grow pods, these basically can help even with a grow pod. You won't get the full square foot, but for the most part, even with the center part of it, you can make indentations to make your spacing inside of your pots. That's what I'm seeing with this right now. If you have raised beds like we do, this will help you get the most out of your raised beds when it comes to seeding and planting your seedlings. So I'm hoping that you enjoy this video and me being able to share by experience on our own purchase stuff and on the things that we were given to try out. And this, again, that was not through any sponsors. It was through family or friends or things like this. So I am super excited. And when I planted that cabbage or the cauliflower, I couldn't believe how much more spacing I had because I learned how to properly do this. So, and you can build templates if you wanted to. If you did not want to get this template, you can build a square boxed in raised bed, take a ruler and do 1 square inch sections, make either string lines, wood lines, or whatever, and make out your plots, and then turn around and use an eye or some kind of template that'll give you an idea of how to be able to put the holes in for all your seeds. So, I mean, there are so many ways to be able to do this, but square foot gardening, I am definitely leaning into this because I am seeing that I can get so much more and I don't have to waste, and I get better productions. I'm excited for that this year, to learn how to grow and garden a whole lot better than I've ever done. So I wanted to share this with you because I thought it was important. I thought it would help you, and many of you are like us in small space backyards, or you know, trying to homestead with what space that you have. Some of you, like us, are utilizing your entire property between farm animals and gardening, and we want to get everything that we can out of it. So if it means sharing some of the garden tools with you that will help you in the end, that's what I decided to do. So until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.